Well, Josh, get right back at it in conference play this weekend. Clarkson and St. Lawrence coming here. Always tough matchups, even despite teams both having right now below 500 records. First of all, Clarkson, what concerns you about them?
Well, they've got some really good wins. I think they have, a young hockey team, but they're really starting to come into their own. They do some really good things offensively. They compete really hard. Look like they might be one of the fastest teams we've seen on video thus far. And they've been getting good goaltending from, Shane Soderwall. So interesting to see him. We didn't really, coming from the Division III level, it's been kind of cool to see his game grow.
Yeah, because they beat North Dakota up there in the first game of a two-game series a couple weeks ago. They split the weekend with Lake Superior on Michigan Tech. I said off to a little bit of a slow start, but what makes them so dangerous?
Well, I think that they got, some defensemen that are pretty special. Tristan Sarsland is arguably one of the best D in the league. Tate Taylor's a really good player. And then up front, they got a lot of different guys that can hurt you. I think they're well coached. They play with a lot of structure and a lot of pace.
This is a team that got to the ECAC tournament championship game last year against Cornell. First year under J.F. Houle. Talk about what the job he did last year and how much of a respect you have for him.
Yeah, he's a great hockey mind, a really good person. So I think he came in there and did a really nice job and got the most out of that team. They really improved throughout the year, and by the end of the season, we were playing their best hockey.
I know you don't like to look ahead, but you got St. Lawrence on Saturday, a team that struggled last year, finishing last place, predicted to finish last again this year, off to a slow start. And we talked about trap games with RPI last week. How important is it in that Saturday game to get out on St. Lawrence and take it to them early?
Well, I think the one thing about St. Lawrence just on video is just how structured they are. They play a disciplined game. They don't give up a whole lot 5-on-5. I think special teams right now have been a bit of an issue for them. So I think for us, we're going to have to take advantage of that and really drive pucks and that, and hopefully be able to draw some power plays because they've had a little bit of struggle on the kill. But Coach Brecky does a really good job there as well, and I'm sure he'll have them ready to go.
Friday's game marks the first time Carter Rose will face his old team in Clarkson. Talk about that whole process of getting Carter from the transfer portal and coming from Clarkson, which means the second player you've gotten from Clarkson.
Yeah, so Carter was a unique situation that I recruited him the first time around as well. There are not a lot of players that are remaining that I recruited there. I think there's actually only one other guy that I had a part of recruiting that's in that locker room. So, Carter, when he became available, he was, I called him right away to see what he was looking for. He had some other calls, and luckily enough for us, he was, said yes again. So it was great.
What did you like about him when you were recruiting him for Clarkson?
Just how well he skates. He's an unbelievable skater. He can move pucks and defend hard. Takes a lot of pride in being a hard-nosed defender. And for us, I just know what kind of person he is. So he's from the area up there, so he lives about 15 minutes from their campus. And I was on the ice with him a lot as he was growing up. So just seeing his work ethic and seeing what type of person he was, it was an easy decision to try to get him.
And when you first arrived here, your first game against Clarkson was up there. When Brandon came here, his first game was up at Clarkson, but this one's here at M&T Bank Center for Carter. Does that make it easier? I mean, there's no pressure on him, maybe, as opposed to seeing Clarkson up there in the first meeting of the season.
Yeah, it's got to be really hard. It's going to be harder for him than anyone. He lived there his whole life, and I'm sure Clarkson was the team he cheered for growing up. So that's going to be a really hard game for him whenever we do go there. And to get this one out of the way first, I think is good. It's a little bit easier of a transition when it's at our building. But I know that's going to be a hard one for him, and he's really well liked, and there's going to be a lot of people when we go up there that I think are cheering for him. But I don't know how many of them that are making the trip here will be.
What advice would you give him when he plays on Friday? Not to try to do too much and just play your game.
Yeah, it's not Carter Rose versus Clarkson. It's Clarkson versus Union, and he's going to have all his teammates and us right behind him and having his back. So I think just treating it like another game. I mean, that's really what it is. I think if you build it up too much, it can really mess with you. And again, this is Union versus Clarkson, another game, and he'll be ready to go.
How did Nate handle it in practice?
Yeah, it's great. Nate took everything like an absolute professional. Proud of him, and just how, I mean, that's a tough situation for him, and I think the world of him, and we had good conversations about it, and he's going to be ready to go.
Yeah, that was only just the second game he's missed. At first, not because of injury.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of different guys that have been scratched throughout their time here. Every weekend you got to put 5 guys down, and it's never fun for anyone. But Nate was a true teammate, cheering everybody on, and was ready to go yesterday, and I'm sure he will be today as well.